gas terus sampai sahur.
Anjing. Itu mau ojib. Itu mau ojib lain, kalau aku mah enggak
Ojib aja sampai Ojib aja belum sampai sahur udah end stream.
Wah, kecewa berat. Ya udah.
Sedih banget.
Halo teman-teman, selamat datang, selamat sore, dan selamat berngabuburit bagi kalian di waktu Indonesia Tengah, waktu Indonesia Timur dan juga waktu Indonesia Tengah. Mungkin mereka udah pada berbuka gitu ya. Cuman intinya hari ini kita bakal streaming dan kita bakal uji coba. Hari ini baru uji coba streaming sore-sore. Aku nggak tahu gimana engagementnya nanti. Yang pasti, aku belum resize apa namanya Gensinku. Nah, udah.
Mantap.
Bersama saya Dani dan juga ditemani dengan Yan. Hari ini kita mau ngerjain ARCON quest yang ini, yang burung malam berguguran di bawah tirai. Intinya kita bakal membalikan kejadian dan mengolah si Skara menjadi wanderer. Harusnya sih gitu ya. Spoiler duluan, bodo amat. Tapi aku kurang tahu cerita lengkapnya, jadi daripada kena spoiler mulu, mending nonton langsung deh. Halo dan ingat, aku tidak kamu mungkin pernah lihat, tapi siapa? Aku agak-agak lupa cuy. Infokan kamu siapa dulu, aku lupa sumpah. Apakah kamu Harut ya? Apakah kamu aku lupa, sebentar aku cek dulu. Apakah kamu Harut ya? Atau Mas Gabut? Atau yang terakhir? Oh, bukan Kin tapi Gyuri. Aku agak lupa. Tapi jujur aku agak lupa. Ya, jadi halo. Asli gimana sih cara ini? Nah, oke. Jadi lanjut lagi nih, kita mau ke bagian sini. Cuman aku tahu ini di apa namanya, di Sumer itu kadang-kadang rese ya. Jadi nggak bisa tele-telean. Jadi gue mau bikin konten resin dulu. Lama. Ya aku emang orangnya gak begitu mudah nginget, Mas. Mudah lupa, asli, jujur aja. Temanku aja 3 tahun di sekolah gak hafal. Hafal sih mukanya, cuman namanya tuh lupa gitu. Ini siapa ya? Kayak ada masuk story tuh ya.
Come on, serious suggestions, please. I'm not trying to write a thriller here. It's supposed to be an essay, you understand? An essay. That means facts and logic.
Sama Jir, iya, makanya itu. Kita sama, oke, mantap. Lah itu serius, aku bukan yang mau mencoba tulis cerita sadis di sini. Ini cuma esai, kamu ngerti kan? Esai loh, artinya berdasarkan fakta dan logika.
Well, if it's facts and logic you're after, you shot yourself in the foot with your choice of research topic, didn't you? That's a Taurus Suna mystery. When so much remains unexplained, there's little to be objective about. Unless, of course, you restrict yourself to textual criticism.
Oh iya, Yan. Kamu lihat orang ini? Rambut putih.
Becir.
Jadi ingat siapa ya? Menahan diri untuk tidak menyebutkan orang. Banyak orang rambut putih sih. Kailus rambut putih, ya kan?
Oh ya.
Kailus rambut putih.
Iya.
Ini Kailus. Diam. Ganjar Jir. Dia malah nyebutin. Bukan seperti itu ya, Mas Ganjar. Saya tidak bermaksud. Sawada. Ini kalau saanya dibalik ke belakang nih gimana ya? Dipindahin ke belakang. Apa Yan?
Dewasa.
Enggak, wah ada. Saya dipindahin di belakang.
Anjing.
udah, ngeri ya. Udah. Skip.
Yeah, well, this is my teacher's area
Cocok
of
loginya.
research. I can't change that. But it's
Wadesta.
fascinating enough
Nggak
without having to
ada.
sensationalize it, don't you think? The strange location, the missing details, a mysterious person.
Katanya Bonsi itu Wadesta. Enggak, bukan Wadesta, tapi Wades.
Bukan wadah. Ngeri banget.
Waduh, untuk saya di tengah-tengah. Ya, Akobah Mustaula. Wow. Sungguh sangat berpendidikan sekali Bonsi sebiji ini. Ya,
Biji.
memang sih kalau ini. Tapi itu cukup menarik tanpa harus membuat sensasi kan. Lokasi yang aneh, detail yang hilang, seorang pria yang
I
misterius.
want to write my essay on something interesting, and I'm interested in getting to the bottom of all this. That's the only reason I came to you.
Yes, you came to me, so all the more reason to take my advice. The fact is, it's the dramatization that will make people want to read it. There's no getting around that.
Okay, but
Did one of them just mention Tatarasuna? But that's all the way in Inazuma. Is it just Paimon, or is it kinda unusual for someone in Sumeru to want to write a paper about that? Everyone here is just going about their business.
Oh ya, bentar.
Maybe it really is just Paimon.
Demon berisik ya.
Guess people here
sabar.
are free to research pretty much anything.
Oke, aku mau ngasih tahu kalau misal aku streaming dibatasin sampai jam setengah 6 sore atau jam 17.30 atau lebih singkat dari itu. Karena apa namanya? Aku WIB. Jadi ya nanti lihat aja lah. Semoga sih bisa kekejar ya. Soalnya kan udah jam 4 juga sih. Jadi ya masih bisa agak gonjang-ganjing amat lah.
Great! Let's go find out what this Tatarasuna mystery is all about.
Gimana nih bicara dengan kedua?
alright, I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial direction for the first draft. I have a feeling that the missing Kabuki Mono will end up being the main focus of this paper.
Main Free Fire, salam boya. Aku nggak main mas. Spam klik skip story. Matane lo ya. Masalahnya ini nih quest ARCON mas. Jadi quest ARCON tuh tidak semena-mena Anda skip gitu loh. Saya ingin menikmati story, tidak menikmati
Ugh, if only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about him, this seems like the kind of thing he'd know about.
apa.
Waduh.
Nongol langsung.
Kalau kamu cari pengembara ya aku orangnya.
You're the traveler, you say?
Satu-satunya yang si Liben terjunnya ke Abyss.
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
Menikmati
Liben ke
emoticon keluar lidah. Astagfirullahaladzim.
Hey.
Gak peduli, yang penting
Aduh,
primo. Astagfirullahaladzim Bonsi, sungguh tidak terpuji sekali kelakuanmu.
Yang penting primo.
Yang penting primo katanya.
Aduh.
Hei, kamu gitu banget sih, gak percaya sama kami. Kalau gak percaya aku pergi aja. Pergi.
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma. This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started examining the evidence. Sorry.
Ini pertama kalinya aku tatap muka langsung denganmu dan rekanmu yang berambut putih itu. Aku tuh ada beberapa
Rambut
kata.
putih.
Ada beberapa kata yang pasti aku bakal ke-trigger. Rambut putih, Ya kan, rambut putih. Terus apalagi tuh namanya yang gratis-gratis, makan gratis, sama
Yang gratis.
Imam Mahdi.
Aduh.
Aduh. Udah bodo amat.
Dani.
Enggak, kadang-kadang 3 kata itu tuh saking sering disebutnya itu tuh sampai bikin apa ya? Bikin nyangkut di kepalaku sendiri gitu loh. Kesel lama-lama soalnya.
So what? For the love of...
Kena brainstorm dia.
Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kind of lacking. Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatarasuna?
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
I see.
I see.
My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatarasuna's past. But who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatarasuna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive for a first read?
Aku gak begitu banyak bicara karena menghemat stamina. Jadi kita sama-sama nikmatin saja lah ya. Nanti kalau misalkan komen aja, nanti aku bacain. Aja. Yang pasti aku ngurangin bicara. Awas cuy, asli.
Well,
Fair
fair
point.
point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
Untungnya udah ngerekaman kemarin.
Let me give you some background. This all started with the discovery of some records in Tatarasuna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade. But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it, and killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows.
Aku izin keluar ya bang, aku mau lihat tutorial. Hihihi, silahkan. Terima kasih sudah mampir kemari.
Apart from the swordmaker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a kabuki mono. This seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger, someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual...
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This kabuki mono lived in Tatarasuna for a while before disappearing without a trace. And shortly afterwards, as Akaba mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
So first this strange person goes missing, then a murder happens? Seems kind of fishy to Paimon.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow, did I get lucky!
Stop shouting!
This part's important. I just wanted to make it stand out. It just so happens that a friend of mine works at the government records office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago. Even back then, Tatarasuna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he went missing too.
Mungkin apa ayo?
Wait, so there are 2 missing people in this story now?
That's right! What's more, Niwa is a name with a lot of history to it. Have you ever heard of the great swordsmith clans of Inazuma?
Oh, the swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes, you really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art. Something then seems to have happened in the Kaidahara clan, leading to their downfall. I don't know the details, but taken in light of everything else going on around that time, it makes you wonder whether it's all connected somehow.
The Kaidahara clan?
Sawada, you left out the biggest detail of all.
Masih ada lagi, buset. Ternyata berapa biji?
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your
Kebanyakan
minds,
detail.
ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe
War detail.
you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
Get to the point, for Pete's sake.
According to information acquired by Akaba's teacher, the Kabuki Mono was not a human, but a puppet.
Waduh,
Gak sangka.
siapa sangka? Tidak ada yang tahu.
Puppet?
Puppet, boneka Shogun yang dibuat oleh Arcon Electro seharusnya memerintahin cuma bersama dia. Jadi itu
Sini,
tidak mungkin dia. Kabuki Mono itu pasti The Ballader, tapi apa yang dia lakukan selama 400 tahun lalu di Tatarasuna ribet amat namanya.
Aha! Judging by the looks on your faces, you do know something after all.
Cok, Ether marah-marah, cok, gila, ngeri.
Aku marah. Aku marah.
No, Paimon just meant, how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like
Ah,
a ghost
elah.
story.
Alah.
Kelihatan banget tuh.
I agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please, take a look.
Astaga panjangnya.
Pulau awan gelap.
Astagfirullah.
Astaga, naga gelap sekali.
Oh, and please read my essay draft as well.
Set ini kayak bikin makalah anjir.
Makanya makalah ini.
Tuh.
Sawada was encouraging me to follow his more creative approach, but I think essays should be grounded in facts. I don't think explaining everything away with mysterious forces will cut it. Oh, how about if I plug the holes in Sawada's narrative with political intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole series of events.
Wait, you're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from
Ngarang
essay to
indah.
guessay there.
Ini malah kayak novel.
Akaba, look. Your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is all that there is to know. This is as much detail as you're ever going to get.
Lapar, halo Azril dan selamatlah berlapar. Ayolah, baru hari pertama masa sudah ngeluh. Memang
Iya,
haus
baru
sih.
hari pertama.
Kalau lapar sih aku enggak, cuman haus aja. Jujur.
Haus. Asli.
Kalau aku
Kering
lebih ke
nih.
haus daripada dibandingkan
Kering nih mulut.
Iya, lebih ke haus. Kalau lapar aku tuh dari dulu ya emang biasa gak pernah makan lebih dari 2 kali sehari biasanya. Soalnya aku sekali makan itu langsung banyak. Jadi sampai malam pun kalau makan, kalau enggak ya enggak makan.
Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting, what hope would we ever have of finding out the truth?
Mana story WA temen orang mukbang?
Good point.
Aneh sih itu.
Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess. Give me some time. I need to find a new angle on this.
We have some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for now. Good luck with your essay.
All right, thank you.
Saking seringnya Paimon tuh ngomong senak jidat sampai dipelototin ether anjir.
Eh,
So, that thing they were talking about, it has to do with the Balladeer, doesn't it? Okay, then, even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh? After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confidential, isn't it?
Kan ngomongnya masih ngomongin ginian lagi tuh si Paimon.
If you ask
PG.
Paimon, Akuma
Paimin,
should just
Paimin.
pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in...
Nah, halo, nongol dah tuh.
Ditakutnya.
Did you see that? He literally just went by, over there. It looked like...
Nah, halo hilang. Nongol di atas itu.
the balladeer! No, it can't have been. He got locked up. Oh, quick, let's catch up and see.
The baladir.
Baladir.
Baladir. Bola. The biji.
Biji.
Santuari of Surastana. Tempatnya Pak Presiden, Bu
Quit following
Presiden.
me.
Batu.
Traveler, Paimon, there you are.
Dede Nahida, wah seger nih.
Waduh.
Lagi puasa-puasa gini ngeliatin. Dia tuh seger gitu. Jangan bilang aku pedo ya, tai emang.
Nahida, bad news. We just saw the balladeer strolling around in public. Did he escape or... Ah, it's him!
Nongol.
Sure enough,
Itu.
you're here.
Hey, what are you doing in the sanctuary of Surastana? Aren't you supposed to be locked up? I know
Ah,
you
there he
must have
is.
a lot of questions. Please, allow me to explain. It was my idea to set the balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me. A deal? Huh. You sure you trust this guy?
What did you
Hmm.
expect? Why do you think Sumeru
Ikan
would keep me
menghitamkan.
around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about. But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Don't flatter yourself. It was...
Kemudian
GR.
GR ya.
Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to
Itu
figure
Nahida
out.
bilang masih ada beberapa misteri dalam dirimu yang harus dipecahkan.
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start. Could I ask you all to please calm down?
Nah, dimarahin Dede Nahida.
But Paimon's worried about you, Nahida. Don't let him trick you.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us! As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the balladeer.
Well, I for one have no reason to doubt you, considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time. The balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position. Plus, he's a former harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets.
Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond.
Wait a second. Farmer? You mean he's not a harbinger anymore?
I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
Waduh. Di
Waduh,
roasting. Di roasting.
di roasting.
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them
Di roasting
using you.
mama.
Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui, and also between each of the harbingers. So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be.
Oh ya, sedih juga ya.
Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility,
Sopan kah
I
begitu?
need to have a backup
Ether.
plan for myself.
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Yeah, obviously.
Ya iyalah ini
Yeah,
apa sih?
don't listen to him.
Apa sih Paimon nih? GR banget
Then
Paimon.
let's put that discussion to the side for now. We
Ngatain
still
orang
have
GR,
time.
dia sendiri yang GR aja.
Heeh.
Oh, orang ya?
Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Good. Go now, and keep in touch.
Nahida, are you serious about this?
Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit.
Wah, benefitsnya buat kita. Kali 2 kali nggak apa, 2 kali, 2 kali 3, 6. Alah.
Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul.
Oh yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So, you have an update on that?
Mm-hmm. You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point. It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the Balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. He can still connect. The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me. So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with this kind of information, and...
Exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him. He's treated us as enemies every time we've run into him.
I understand. But sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on. How things will
Parah
go in the
banget.
future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, I know what your heart desires most of all. Our minds have connected several times before. There's a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark, searching for the one candle whose light still burns. As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the Balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you. If this deal with the Balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it. It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it.
Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we
Apa
can
sih
do to help?
Paimin? Seuzon terus.
Suzon mulu anjir kerjaannya.
I was gonna
Bulan puasa nggak boleh
contact you
gitu.
about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. Seems like we have a telepathic connection. In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned. Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease. Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside. Great. Prepare yourselves. I'm going to transport you into Irminsul.
Anjay,
Anjay, siapa sangka.
pindahin coy. Digendong sama Dede Nahida.
Wow.
Bejir.
It looks pretty different here
Kepeng
compared to
ntar.
last time.
Oh anjir, 17
colors
FPS cok,
are
anjing.
Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
Guys, kalau misalnya patah-patah ini emang nge-lag anjir gila. Ini banyak banget detailnya kayak gini. Aku ngeliat 22 FPS cuy. Gila ya. Kalau the balladeer.
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Shut your beak, jailbird!
Alah.
No way a prisoner
Paimon
gets to
berisik.
be so smug!
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards, but right now, I'm on temporary release, so maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul. It is an environment like no other, and the most important place in all of Sumeru. Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through. I know there are many grievances between you, on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Fine, let's call it truce. But only until this
Genjatan
mission's over.
senjata.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are going to be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going. Or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
Ew! Ugh, the snark on this guy. It's unbearable.
We can start now.
Irminsul access granted. Initiating connection procedure.
Is this a small sapling? Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him.
Oh, kita nggak bisa masuk tunasnya. TP anjir. Please naik ya.
So this is the inside of Irminsul.
Nah, akhirnya naik 35 FPS.
Ooh, Paimon's never seen anything like this. And it feels like a sacred place.
Irminsul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Teyvat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he says?
Lesser Lord Kusanali, we will now proceed to the heart of Irminsul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul is?
Yes,
permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go running off.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here. What are you smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option is to stick close to me.
Ikuti The Ballader. Apa nih? Tunas apa nih? Bisa
These
interact kan?
sapling things have spread out.
Those are all packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
It looks the same in every direction. No wonder he mentioned about getting lost. Huh. What do you know? He was actually telling the truth.
Hehe.
Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
Kayak mana yang nyebelin anjir?
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little? We're here.
What a huge tree!
Lesser Lord Kusanali,
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents. Establishing waypoint.
The Balladier's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
Will do.
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk? Yes, I've also invited Paimon to join.
Anjir.
What the-
Discord group chat. Discord group call ini.
Connect ya. Discord group chat. Sialan juga. Mengundang lagi kata-katanya.
Ya mengundang.
Discord aja anjir buset.
Invite ke call.
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a while.
Paimon's never tried this before. This is great!
Setelah mengeluarkan varian baru yaitu Discord telepati anjir. Sebuah terobosan baru. Tapi gila juga. Tapi serem anjir.
Enggak nih.
Lu bayangin aja nih, misalnya lu lagi di dunia tepat, lu lagi mandi diintipin nama Nahida anjir. Aku nggak ngarang loh, itu yang nyebut dia sendiri.
Enggak nih.
Waktu di apa namanya di ARCON quest itu aneh banget anjir, gila.
So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladier's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand. Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers. Well done. Smart and attentive as always. So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the person he is today.
Huh. Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the ARCON.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
If you mean the mysterious events, the kabuki mono and so on, yes. I know about all of that.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination.
Ini scene sinetron tapi lebih upgrade ya.
Iya anjir.
Bisa ngomong dalam hati gitu. Sering saut bersahutan gitu kan.
Oh? How interesting.
So the Gese got it right?
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones have.
Nah,
to be
halo,
involved.
ketahuan.
Lupa digagarisnya
What makes
jadi
you think
online,
we're
ya jadi
talking to
offline.
each other?
Lupa invisible,
Don't
invisible.
insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said
Iya,
conversation.
lu tuh nggak diajak.
Of course you do. You can't have
Belum
your
add friend.
prisoner knowing too much.
So,
Belum add friend.
have you found anything yet?
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Wait, how did you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you. Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself. And making cordial conversation is something I can manage. Huh? Wait.
This light. It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Hey, don't you forget the agreement. You have to share it with us.
Shh. Just wait.
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatarasuna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so?
It's...
Whoa!
I have been in Tatarasuna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else. Under your leadership, Tatarasuna is a warm, welcoming place. As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatarasuna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow. The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade.
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. And he would be the first. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique. Even now, you remain one of Tatara Suna's key consultants, working right here alongside us. I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma, and it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir, what do you mean?
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected, because I didn't want to speculate. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, none of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with Shogun. This is our but that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure...
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more—
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand.
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you?
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
Drop the act! We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatara Suna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment. A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
You...
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all. And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatara Suna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going—
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You...
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But this makes no sense.
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is... If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui Harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
The Fatui? Who? What do you want?
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy?
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet. Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
COVID.
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa, he has nothing to prove to anyone.
What a beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself. Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning... I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible. Mr. Niwa? Already dead. What a
Jalan banget
pity.
Aduh.
Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was. I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful...
Hey, are you alright?
Dottore. Dottore! Good.
Was that the doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine? But why did we see things from his perspective?
When I touched the doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Maybe so, but it means nothing.
Does it? But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the furnace. You know very well what that means. Even more so than I.
Let's give him some space. He looks really mad. Paimon doesn't want to be anywhere near him right now.
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Paimon's still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the doctor was behind it, but why has that gotten him so worked up?
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabukimono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as a mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future. Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the balladeer became the main test subject. After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process. The load was far beyond what he expected, but the balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic, "This device seems to have protected me. What's in it?" The mechanic answered, "Niwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for." He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants. The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it has protected him from the filth. He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
Holy moly. So the doctor killed an innocent man and pinned everything on the victim? That's terrible.
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose a new path forward.
Dotori, you brazen-faced... Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
Shall we see how he's doing? Hey, you alright? That's a scary expression.
Are you worried about me? If we didn't have such a history, I'd almost think that qualifies me to be your friend. It won't. I'll keep my end of the deal.
Hey, are you investigating the stuff we want to know about?
That's why we're here. But unfortunately, there's no information about the Descenders in Irminsul.
Even if you can't find anything, that seems to confirm it. Irminsul does not keep records on the Descenders. Anyone who comes from beyond this world is not counted as part of Teyvat.
Oh, does that mean we have to leave empty-handed?
Don't thank me just yet. You look really upset. Well, since Irminsul was a dead end, I guess I can share some other info that might interest you.
Huh? About what?
The reason why there are records about your sister in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was her first destination when she arrived in this world. Plus, she only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
The heavens responded?
The jester told me this himself. You can take his word on this. He was a royal mage in Conria, and lived with your sister for a time. I don't know the details. It's up to you whether you want to believe me. All I can say is, I wouldn't lie to you about this. Did you get all that, Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Yes. Astonishing news.
Does this info count towards my mission? It wasn't from Irminsul, but was it valuable?
Very valuable.
Good. In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
Huh? What have you done?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was right. My power's all but completely spent. Even if I use all of the divine power left in me, I can't sustain this shield for very long. I shared a secret with you, and now you owe me. So in return, I'd like you to answer a question for me. Give me your hand. Can you hear my voice inside your head?
Otak ya, buset.
No, I can't do anything like that anymore. At most, all I can do is exchange a few words with you. So tell me, in this world, is it possible to change the past? Done.
Huh? What the? What happened? I
Salaman
thought
doang.
only saw you hold hands for a second.
Nothing. I was just thanking him for helping me. So long. I suggest you get yourselves out of here quickly.
Where are you going? Hey, wait up! Didn't you say not to go running off?
Fast reaction time. But I don't think we'll be seeing each other again.
Oh, hilang. Jam 5. Jam 5 anjir.
From this day forth, the names Balladeer and Kabukimono will cease to exist. Those who died in Tatarasuna because of me deserve another chance at life.
Hey, Balladeer! Don't do anything stupid!
You know, I never did like insects. Hordes of the puny things swarming together can be a real nuisance. And I enjoy nothing more than to stamp them out like the pests they are. But if a colony of harmless ants isn't threatening anyone, I guess they deserve to be left alone. Luckily, everything can be set right. It's time to solve this once and for all.
Balladeer! Balladeer!
Kapan? Bentar, juga ada orang. Aduh. Lanjut guys. Tadi ada orang, cuman ya salah ya.
Uh-oh, he disappeared. Come on, we gotta find him somehow. Oh no, he's really gone.
Oh,
Gawat.
can you hear me?
Nahida!
Traveler, Paimon, Balladeer, what happened just now? I was suddenly cut off by some kind of power.
It was the Balladeer's fault. He shut you out.
I didn't think he'd be capable of something like that with so little power left. Did he keep some of his power hidden when he was defeated? Or did he achieve something beyond his abilities, and it took everything he had?
Where the heck did he go? Ugh, it's all our fault. We were supposed to keep an eye on him. Sorry, Nahida.
Don't be. It's not your fault. Please, let me handle this from here, even though I'm not sure I can solve it. We're running out of time. Follow my lead and get out of Irminsul as soon as
We're out! And we're at, an inn or something?
This is an emergency. I'll have to ask you to stay here for now. Everything's arranged, and nobody will disturb you. I'm sorry, but this isn't something I need your help with. Leave this one to me.
An emergency? How bad is it? Nahida, will you be okay?
Don't worry. If my assessment is correct, though there may be some minor disturbances, it won't lead to a disaster. Please rest and recover your strength here until I say it's safe.
Her voice has gone. Paimon can't shake the feeling that something really big has happened. What do you think the Balladeer meant? And why did he suddenly grab onto you before? He wants to change the past? But surely that's impossible! Right! You can't just rewrite history! All that stuff happened already in real life! It's like, imagine Paimon drank all the water in this inn. Even if no one was there to see it, Paimon would sure as heck remember drinking it! So, why does Paimon still have a bad feeling about this? Paimon can't help but feel scared about what he might do. Oh, Paimon's so confused. Huh? Ah! Sorry, Paimon accidentally.
Nah, nyalahin orang.
Nyalahin orang.
Paimon, all this mental stress. But erasing yourself from history? It's unthinkable! Is that really possible in Irminsul? Uh-oh. Paimon's head is overheating from trying to understand what he's up to. And it's still not working. Ugh. Paimon's had it with that little brat. He's been nothing but trouble ever since we met him. There's no way he'll actually succeed, right? Otherwise, won't everyone who's connected to him be affected too? There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Hey, have you got any ideas on what we should do? Seems like now there's nothing left for us to do but to go to sleep. But Paimon's still... So, how about... we list all our favorite foods to take our mind off things? Heck, if that doesn't work, Paimon's probably gonna collapse of anxiety here. Alright, Paimon will start. First dish. And Dragon chili chicken,
Set.
also Adeptus temptation, golden shrimp balls, triple layered consomme, lotus seed and bird egg soup, and
Apa lagi nih? Ether ngelem.
Stream lem.
um what was Paimon supposed to be doing just now? Paimon was, talking? Huh. Paimon suddenly can't remember what she was talking. The Balladeer? Is that a food too? Huh. Weird name though.
Oke, masuk akal.
What's wrong? Your eyes are like saucers. Was it something Paimon said? So, the Balladeer. Is that someone's name?
Ketahuan Paimon dari Tifa.
Nickname or something.
Aduh ketahuan Paimon dari Tevat.
Real coy. Paimon dari Tevat.
Okay, sure. Where are we going? Huh? Fine by Paimon, but is everything okay? You're...
Berapa sekarang? Jam 17.11.
Squall and Fury. Yeah.
We've made it to Amanoma Smithy.
Ah, it's been a while. Of course. Go ahead. No. Now there's a question The once renowned Raiden Gokuden, comprised of the art of forging practiced by these 5 clans, was first taught to them personally by the almighty Shogun. Over time, most of the great swordsmith clans of old have since fallen into decline, but fortunately, Kaede Harakazuha recently returned to Inazuma and took up the mantle of the Ishin. If my memory serves me right,
Oh yeah, we were! Paimon remembers that now. We learned a bit about the decline of the Raiden Gokuden then too. It seems like such a shame.
That, my friends, is a tragic tale indeed. In fact, this was not made known to me for most of my life. All these years, I knew of those great clans' demise. He told me that, as we are both heirs to a branch of the Raiden Gokunen, it was right that I should know the truth. There is no harm in telling you, but I must warn you. The Raiden Gokuden were the targets of a murderous rampage by a vengeful bladesmith.
Vengeful? Why?
400 years ago, so I'm told, there was a catastrophic malfunction in Tatarasuna's furnace. Tatarasuna was home to a state-of-the-art forging and smelting, knowing that they had just one chance to save countless lives. Mr. Niwa and the swordsmith leaped together into the furnace. The smith's death, though heroic, dealt a devastating blow to his family's fortunes. In his heart, the whole of Inazuma was culpable in his tragedy. He hated the almighty Shogun for her apparent indifference towards his father. Powerless and destitute, the only legacy he had to pass on to his children was his hatred. Generation after generation bore this grudge, living in utter misery. Alas, If only the story could have ended there. But 100 years... Finally, he made a drastic decision. To take revenge on the Raiden Gokuden. In doing so, he sought... In his fury, he murdered indiscriminately, killing even bladesmiths from the Hyakume clan, which he belonged to. His goal was absolute. But when he came to the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans, his killing spree came to an abrupt end. He failed to catch them unawares. They fought back, fiercely, and that is why the Kaedehara clan and their Ishin art survived that day. I suppose they were the lucky ones, under the dire circumstances.
Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Kazuha? Why, yes. Just yesterday, in fact. We spoke for a while over some tea. My pleasure.
Don't tell Paimon. There are other places you want to visit too, right? You're express on to the next stop.
Paimon tahu maksudnya apa? Kiamat.
Anjir.
We're here.
Traveler, it's been a while. If you're looking for the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I'm afraid your timing...
Are they out on business?
The Commissioner is out on business, and Miss Kamisato is standing in for some meetings in the Commissioner's place.
What do you think? Shall we go in?
If it were anyone else, I couldn't allow it. But seeing as you're so close with the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I think it's...
We'll be heading in then. Thanks.
Hello, dears. Of course, traveler. Yes, I know who you are. Miss Kamisato has told. What would you like to know? Oh, they're both very well indeed. Lately, Miss Kamisato has been rather busy As for the Commissioner himself, well, you know, busy as ever. That much hasn't changed.
So pretty much business is...
Very much.
Well, got any more questions?
You're very welcome. In fact, I would love nothing more than for you to come and visit more often. But I'm sure you must. Miss Kamisato talks about you all the time. She seems so thrilled to have you as a friend. I must say.
Oh, jadi kalau Ayaka suka sama si apa namanya, suka sama si Ether tuh dari sini ya.
So you're not just Miss Kamisato's knight in shining armor, you know. You're a hero to us all.
Bentar, aku mau ambil pesanan dulu. Aku titip dulu bentar. Lepas mulu ya, heran gue ini. In-earnya nyangkut dalam bat lagi. Jalan banget. Halo.
Hai,
Halo.
aku tersanjung.
Aku tersanjung.
Goodbye for now. We're great. Goodbye, ma'am. Don't worry.
All right.
Karena jam.
Oh, are you two leaving already?
Yep. Everything's taken care of now. Don't worry.
Very well. Safe travels.
Oke, ini kita ke Tatarasuna. Cuman apa namanya streamingnya harus selesai di sini dulu karena udah waktunya kita off.
Yeay.
Nanti kita bakal lanjutin mungkin ntar malam atau enggak besok lagi. Tapi aku nggak tahu dengan thumbnail yang sama dengan paling tambah dikit thumbnail. Ya udah itu aja. Jadi itu aja untuk streaming kita kali ini. Karena waktunya sudah menjelang berbuka, jadi sungguh ide aja. Karena waktunya sudah mau berbuka, jadi intinya sudah. Itu aja untuk streaming kita kali ini. Saya Dani dan juga Yan ditemenin juga di Discord. Ya udah, selamat berbuka puasa bagi kamu yang ada di waktu Indonesia Timur. Kalau tengah masih belum dihitung, masih puasa harusnya. Jadi ya udah itu aja. Terima kasih. Sampai jumpa di streaming selanjutnya. Dadah.
Dadah.
Dadah. Seger lu lihat ngelihat Dede Nahida lu.
Bejir. Ntar aku dibilang peot. Enggak lah.
Kamu kan emang peot.
Enggak.